Hello, everybody. This is Modesta Mahigam from Purpose and Excellence. We're going live. Look at me. I am in a constrained little area because I want to stream from everywhere at the same time. So bear with me. Oh, I'm excited about today's session. Please do share this. I'm sharing everything. I actually have printed sheets of everything that I have gone through, everything that I have written down as the principles by which I stand to have the influence that I have. Hey, everybody. This is, one second. So you two bear with me. Look at me. I feel all young and with it. All right, going on live. Facebook, hi, how's it going? It's Modesta Mahigam, everybody. I'm in the basement and I am barefoot, like I am ready for anything today. And I am, here, let me get an Instagram live. Go live. Everybody, everywhere. How's it going? Hey, everybody, this is Modesta Mahigam from Purpose and Excellence. I told you this is going to be the hottest live I have ever had. I have YouTube, Instagram Live, and Facebook. And today, oh, hi, Sheila. Thank you for coming in. I want to talk about, and I want to share with you everything that I stand for to be distinguished in my field, to still be relevant 15 years later, to still be called on for international assignments in countries I have never been to, markets I haven't even served remotely, to still, be able to do what I seem to do so effortlessly, to be in a position where I keep getting referrals, even when I don't ask for them, which, by the way, I do ask, but sometimes they come even when I don't ask. So I am here in my basement today. My family, they're so gracious, they're somewhere making their way out so that we can be together. And I want to share everything I have. I actually printed this and left the print upstairs. And if you bear with me, I'm going to actually ask for the prints. I am barefoot, like I said. One second. Babe, I have my printouts upstairs. Can you please bring them to me? Woo! Don't you just love, okay, let me move my printer and papers here. Don't you just love the fact that I have support in my family? My husband's very supportive. My kids are very supportive. Actually, today is my daughter's birthday. Shout out to Jedediah Ariel Mbuguni. She's 6 today. And I'll be posting about her. So who do we have here? Gracia or Grace, I'm not sure. Sheila Murtaza. Hi, Murtaza. Faraja, hi. And so what is it then that I have done, or what do I have around me? How is it? And I know some of you know I'm not even where I come from. I'm not in Tanzania at the moment. So how is it that, with kids and being out here, that I can still be relevant in my field, even in most of the times I've actually been studying. And when I work, I finished my contract with the World Bank, but when I worked with them, it was remotely. So how do you stay relevant? And I wanted to start with this. So if you know Matthew 5, 13 and 14 will tell you that you are the salt of the earth. My papers have come. Ta-da! Thank you. You are the salt of the earth. But salt is only good when it is put in something, right? I mean, salt has many uses. There are, medicinal uses, but usually we know salt as bringing flavor. And so this is my cup here. Let me move it for Instagrammers. And so if then you are not being put in anything, if you're not bringing flavor to your sphere of influence, if you're not bringing flavor to the market you're called to, then there is no use for you except to be thrown out and to be trampled out. Now, I don't care how old you are, you are in a position to be thrown out and trampled on right now, right? I'm talking to you. Can I get on the comment section if you're saying, Modesta, no, I am not that old and I'm not irrelevant for me to be thrown out and trampled on. And then verse 14 says, you are the light of the world. And what do we do with light? Light is put up to light a room. Light is not hidden. If I had some of the lights that I have here, and I feel like I don't even have quite enough light out here. If I had some of these lights, more light, there, I got myself more light. There would be no point of having these lights at the bottom because the light is supposed to, shine in the room. And so your life, whatever it is that you are purposed to do, whatever it is that you have set out to do, that has to be visible. That has to then be relevant. What does light do? It shines on, in dark places so that people can't see, or maybe it enhances features. Maybe it directs to a certain place, so maybe it brings about a certain theme. And so you are light, and you should shine. And a city on a hill, for instance, a well-lit city, cannot be avoided. And so some of the issues that we'll address today is, are you a city on a hill? Are you lit up? Are you sold? Do you bring flavor? And so there is nothing really that secretive about the secrets that I want to share with you today, except the fact that, hey, Instagram, I've been looking at you now, except for the fact that we are light, we are sold, and most of the times we might do a thing once, and we kind of hope that people remember that, and they will run with that, and they'll remember us next time. So get this. This is what I found it has come down to. The years of being top in my field, the referrals, the access to markets and platforms that I didn't even know existed, I didn't even ask for, getting to do what I do, and I seem to do it so effortlessly, and it's infectious. Just this month alone, I've had over 10 invitations to speak, to facilitate, as a keynote speaker, to be a panelist, to inaugurate something. I work from home, people. This is how I have all this time for this. How are people finding a person who's at home, not networking out there in corridors of power or corporate boardrooms? How is it that I remain relevant? How am I getting 10 invitations a month? All right, fine, not every month, but this month anyway. How do things like that keep happening for a person who's not out there? I'm not doing cocktails with people. I am not doing lunches or coffees or cake or whatever. So let me boil it down to this. So I have been dabbling in investment, in stocks in particular. So in company stocks and cryptocurrencies, and this is a new exciting thing for me. And this is what really dawned on me. One second. Compound interest. What is compound interest? Just yesterday I was thinking, how do I explain compound interest to people? This is what compound interest is. It's saying that when you invest, right, you're putting your money, not to save, but to invest so that you can get a certain interest back, make a little profit on the money that you have invested, that you put somewhere. That little profit, I need to say it this way for all you investment bankers and everybody else who's really sophisticated in this thinking, but that's, you're dumbing it down. I need to dumb it down, right? I need to dumb it down for me, first of all, so that I don't blunder, but also not everybody here, is a finance professional, so bear with us. Compound interest is basically saying when you invest, when you're putting your money somewhere, let's say you've lent somebody money and they say, well, I'm going to give it back to you with a little bit on top. So that bit on top, usually you just think, wow, I made a profit. I got back my initial principal sum, that amount, and some on top. Compound interest says go back and do not take out either the interest nor the principal sum. Invest that back in. And this is what I've seen to be, the differentiator. I have been investing back in those things I initially put out. And so what I want to share with you today, and I'm trying to get my sheets right, ta-da! What I want to share with you today is what I initially put in, and then how I do not eat the interest on top of that. How I do not, withdraw the interest, but I invest it back in so that I have interest upon interest upon interest. And now and then that thing overflows and, you can withdraw from it. Let me put it this way. So on talking about compound interest, the fact that, hello, who's here? Lulu just joined. Hey, Lulu, we just messaged on LinkedIn, didn't we? Glad to see you. So compound interest is when you invest and then you get that little, that interest, that percentage you're supposed to get back. Don't eat that. Don't take that out. Put that back in so that now the principal is even larger and what you gain as interest is more, and you keep doing that. And so there are 10 things I realized that I've been doing, and I wouldn't withdraw, but I kept on adding onto that. And And that has kept me talking like it. And that has kept me relevant. And that has kept people referring other people in other markets and in other countries without my knowing it. All right, so this is it. Conviction, number one. I call them the 10 C's. Conviction, clarity, character, competence, creativity, curate, connection, communication, courage, and consistency. God help me with this one. I want to do this in 45 minutes flat, Modesta. 45 minutes, yes, 45 minutes, we're going to do this. I'm barefoot, like I said before, I am ready for this. I realize this is the most exciting thing about everything I do. I summed it up to compound interest. That's what I've been doing. I've just been investing back. So conviction, for instance, you know that I am a God girl, right? I know I was created by God but for a purpose. Modesta, what does that have to do with being relevant in the marketplace, for instance? I mean, everybody has their own religious views. Thank you very much. I mean, just here, I am seeing names that, I can assume come from different faiths. And so you're saying, Modesta, what does the fact that you believe in God have to do with anything about you being effective in the marketplace? Listen, hear me out, hear me out. 45 minutes and you will tell me if this was not the hottest live you've ever heard me on. The reason why this conviction on the fact that I was created by God for purpose means that I will seek out purpose in everything that I do. Hi, Amy, welcome. Seek out purpose in everything that I do and everything that I engage in relationships I build, in conversations that I have, in contracts that I will choose, to partner with, the amounts that I choose to have, where I take my money and what I do with my time. Second thing is, I bound to no one but Jesus Christ. This is just it. And there are many situations, I'm not talking about religion here. I'm talking about the fact that the time is circumstances, it's corporate politics, sometimes it's partisanship, sometimes it's the fact that, look, there are people and there are cliques and that they sit together and they want you to be part of that, or if you're not part of that. I was once told, Modesta, don't think you're better than the rest of the Tanzanians. If you do not respect corporate hierarchy, we will remove you. Do you know what I did? This was 15 years ago. I resigned. Peak of my game. Employee of the year, awards left, right, and center, and shares, talent retention shares to stay in the company. Why? Because I know who I am. I know the purpose for which I was called. And I know that I need to have my record clean, and I need to be in an environment that is supportive and an environment that is not discriminatory. And so what was my issue at that time? People being discriminated against. I addressed it with management, and management said, listen here, you're very privileged to be a manager at the age of 23. Do not think because of your education, whatever, that you're better than the rest. You better keep quiet and find your place or you will be removed. I said, you know what? What I know for sure, because I know my purpose, is that I will not keep quiet. So for sure, they will remove me. So I resigned. That story for another day. Another thing about conviction, remember I'm talking about the 10 C's? I'm talking about the power of compound interest. That is the difference that I have seen. Not that I do anything any different from anybody else, but to stay relevant, to still get called on, to still be invited, to still get referrals, even when you're not asking, even when you're not thinking. Like I said, I have been out here. This is going on to my 3rd year where I work from home. I'm in a new country. I'm taking care of my girls. All the work that I do, even when I consulted with the World Bank Group, was from home. So how then do you have people in the African continent? How do you have people in Latin America? How do you have people in Asia? How do you have people in Australia? I'm actually starting somebody in Australia. How do you have people? And listen, by the way, somebody recently asked me, Modesta, are all your clients Tanzanian? Because I'm Tanzanian. I said, no, actually. I would say maybe 50%. Yeah, this was last week. I had one of these complementary strategy sessions with someone. I said, actually, 50% would be Tanzanian, simply because, I have that track record, but the rest aren't. How do they find you? I'm like, I'm really not quite sure. I actually do. In communication, we'll talk about the C's of communication. I'll give you my little secret, which is not a secret at all, about how to stay relevant and visible. So I know I'm created for purpose. And I seek engagements that reinforce purpose, and environments and relationships that do that. I bow down to no one. I won't be partisan. I won't have politics. I won't do cliques. I won't fear you because you're in a position to make or break my contract. You know what? I can say goodbye to your contract. Why? Because the purpose in which I live to execute will open another door. It must. God is the greatest investor that I know. He wants return on his investment. He will make sure that I am in the right position, doing the right thing at the right time so that he can reap his dividends. And so it is no bother to me if I know that I belong to someone else. It is no bother to me what is happening to me tomorrow. Why? Because as long as I am consistent in what I am doing, doors will open so that I can do that which I was brought here on earth to do. I'm here on assignment. You are here on assignment. It's just a question of finding out whether you know that you are or not. Who do we have? Who else has joined us? Zakia, Dina, Glorious. Welcome, G. And Emmy out there, welcome. Who do I have here? I actually can't see you. I know that there are 3 people out here. Please say something, you two. I can't see who's on there right now. All right, so we started off saying, you're salt and light, but salt, if it's not used, what's it gonna do? It loses flavor. It's thrown out and trampled on. And so you need to remain salty. Somebody, please type salty. Like I stay salty. I need to stay fresh because I need to be relevant and I need to be put to use. People do not, and I was saying this just yesterday to somebody, it doesn't matter that when you showed up, whenever that was, you did a good job. They will be grateful that they took a chance on you and you were able to deliver. But your next opportunity will not come just because you have a history. It'll come because you stay relevant, you stay salty in your area. Marceline, welcome. And then the other thing is, I give more than I receive. I talk about the masterclass class, I talk about executive coaching. I actually coach more non-paid than I do get paid. I support people and their causes and their organizations more than, and I do it without returns. I mean, you guys see me posting things and that's what you see publicly. So privately and publicly, give much more than you receive. There are times that I will like and repost and I will comment and I will promote and nobody's even asked me, even the person who has that thing hasn't asked me why, because I see that they're onto something that aligns with what I am about. And that's another secret that I'll share with you as we go down. We're still on just one seat. Modesta, you said you're going to do this in 45 minutes. Come on, people, encourage me. Who's that? That's Glorious. Thank you very much. That you can invest. No, let me not get ahead of myself. And then the other thing is, my conviction is I eat last. I guess that kind of goes with giving more than receiving. I eat last. I need to take care of my people first. Even to my, and this principle, even to my own detriment. You will see when we're talking about connection, you will see the importance of putting other people first. And not to manipulate, not that so that you're investing social equity and come back you will withdraw. No. There are doors that won't open or by just from me. There are rooms I won't be able to get into. It is people that we need more than we need money, more than we need the degrees, more than we need to position in the platforms. Like right now, I'm one of the people that I'm coaching. I just had a session with her. She's positioning for global leadership, fellowships and platforms, etc. And her CV, oh my goodness, it's just one of those. Wow. I need to be recruiting her for something, but she's already engaged somewhere. It's amazing CV. But even that CV alone isn't opening the doors, which is why she's engaged me. So we'll learn about making connections and the importance of that. Eat last. Take care of your people. And I don't mean employees and just partners or family. I mean, you need to know, this is coming to the next section, who you are, who you're serving, and with whom you want to do it. And make sure you take care of them first. Because that is actually what fulfilling your purpose is. You take care of them. And I do not know how God does it. Either them or somebody else will come back and take care of you. Give and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will men give unto your bosom. Which men? I don't know. Maybe the men that you have invested in or other people. And when I say men, I also mean women. So conviction. Know on which you stand, what it is that you stand on. And stick to that. That is what has distinguished me. Actually, one of the people that's on here, I wonder if she's still on here. She said that, she once came to me because one of my people had bribed somebody at a client's and said that if you do this, if you let us have this contract, Modesta will do this for you. And somebody who was on here right now, maybe she's gone, said, you know what, I know Modesta. So this other lady now who had allowed my firm to get a contract and was saying how come Modesta isn't paying me, said, and it was complaining on the side to somebody. This lady said, the lady who was on here just right now, said, I know Modesta. She would never agree to that. You were lied to. Let me speak to her. She said, no, then she would get her person in trouble. And she did speak to me, and I called the lady who had agreed to the bribe. And I said, I'm very sorry about what happened to you. I do no such thing. So sorry for you. And I fired the person that was on my team that lied and said that this is something that I would be open to. So it is so good when people are looking for personal conviction, apart from everything else you could be good at, to be a person of conviction. Number 2, clarity. Know your purpose. Set your values. Focus on your vision and live your mission daily. I will talk about this later when talking about communication, but I am about this one thing. I am here to equip purpose-driven servant leaders to drive market results with excellence. I am focused on Africa. I will invest my life equipping 100 million African leaders. Why? Because I know Africa is going to be the leading economic region in the world, and it needs to get its men and women strategic position of leadership and influence to get it there. And so whether I am doing this as a recruiter, as a trainer, as somebody in policy reform, as a steering committee member or a board director, or I get into public office, however I'm going to do it, whether I'm doing it as an author or as a speaker or a coach, a mentor, that is what I'm about, equipping purpose-driven servant leaders that want to drive market results with excellence. And so because I am clear on what I do, I engage in the things that are associated with that. Get clarity on what it is you are here to do and do that. And compound interest, consistently do that, because it does something else as well. It distinguishes you from everyone else. And when you narrow it down, I love what Pedro Adao says of 100X Academy. He says, define your mission so well that only you can fit in it. You define your mission so narrow. You are known for this one thing and this one thing only, and you get so deep, but you define it and you refine it and you really hone down and get to what it really is about at the end of the day. And it is so clear and so focused that anybody else that thinks of that area and has come across you will say, there's only one person I can think of in this area, and that is so and so. And that is how opens a door for you. Doors will open for you. Pamela, welcome. Who else do we have on here? We have Doria. I can't, you've got a lot happening with your name, but welcome as well. Right? So know your purpose, have set values, focus on vision, and live your mission daily. And do that daily. I mean, your conversation, even when you're having a good time or you're having conversation, just somehow your purpose, your vision, your mission has to slip in. That people will know you for that thing. And they will say, well, I don't know who else is out there, but one person I have heard and is consistently established. Listen, I wasn't posting on LinkedIn, which is a great platform for professionals. So if you're not on it, please get on it. I wasn't posting my personal things much. Why? Because I was engaged with the World Bank Group, and I use that to recruit. So you didn't really see me and my things on there. But I have been doing that for what, a week or 2 weeks now, after my contract. Guess what? I had 100 people searching, viewing my profile and searching. This is non-World Bank related stuff. I've had people emailing me. Actually, one of them is on here right now, asking me to speak to her. But I've had invitations. And so when you are very clear about who you are and what you're there for, and the next thing is, and you know exactly whom it is you want to do what you want to do for. And so I know what I want to do, and I am doing it for African leaders, Africans, and leaders, so that they can drive market results with excellence. People, my target is people who are purpose-driven. And I mean professionals. I mean people who are either in their own businesses or they're employed. Professionals that are purpose-driven. that are serving at heart, people who are value-based and are about serving, empowering, and building a legacy and preparing successors, that want to drive market results, that want to influence markets. Why? Because markets will take Africa to be the leading economic region in the world with excellence. So not drive that market results any which way. So they have to be purpose driven. They have to stand on values. They have to be about service and empowering others, and they have to be about driving specifically the market results with excellence. So know who to work with. Sorry, what was it? Know who to target and seek to serve them at their greatest pain. So that's the other thing. What are people most concerned about? Find out what that issue is. Not what you think it is. Find out what it is, and then serve them and keep serving them on that. And then also know who you want to work with, whether it's partners in business, whether it's people who will serve with you, in employment, whether it's, industry, maybe it's influencers, thought leaders that you want to work with. Identify them. And so seek out, recruit, compensate, equip, empower, partner with, and promote the best available hearts and minds. I'm not just interested in your mind. I have met many and intellectual, many people who are really good in their field, and they were crappy characters. And they were all about me, and serving their cause, and not really about building people up. And so look out for them, because you will see later that you can't do everything yourself. You will see when we're talking about connection, you can't do everything yourself. And therefore what? You will need the right people. You will need people who can show up and it's like you showed up. I have mentored and I have coached and I've worked with people and so equipped and empowered them that it made no difference whether I could physically show up or not. They did, and they did a stellar job. All right, moving on, character. Listen, if you haven't already done it, do your personal SWOT. You can get it on purposeandexcellence.africa. Do your personal SWOT to know your strengths, your weaknesses, and the opportunities out there that you can leverage and threats that you need to look out for. Partner with people. This is to build character. Learn to be more emotionally attuned, emotional intelligence. This is one area I have had challenges with, because I just show up, I am who I am, I'm about this cause, God has anointed me and he's called me and I'm doing these things, and I have burnt people, I have burnt relationships. You want to do business in an area and somebody shows up and they're not really interested in business. They want you to bribe them, or maybe they want you as a person, they want your body or whatever it is, and I will quickly just kill that thing and shame that person and move away. But I have learned now, after burning so many bridges, I have learned now, how do you establish healthy boundaries? How do you say no, without killing relationships? How do you allow people to know exactly where you stand, what you will and you will not do, yet not completely, diminish them or invalidate who they are? Because it's not the people that you have an issue with, it's the things that they're doing or the approaches that they have, and so to address those. So emotional intelligence, if you feel like there's an area, and maybe I'm on like this end of the spectrum, and somebody else is like, well, I'm like a doormat, and people just do whatever they want to do by me, and that hasn't served me well. Well, do something about that. Don't, learn then what you need. Maybe as an introvert, as a shy person, as an insecure person, and sometimes, being overtly like this is also an insecurity. Find out what you need to learn your style, and I like DISC assessment. And also, what's the other one? I've forgotten, it'll come back to me. To really assess, what motivates you, what kind of personality you are, and what kind of personality other people are, so that you can learn how to work with them. What they find rewarding, how to speak with them, how to work with them. I've recently had to learn how to work with people that have a completely different temperament and expectation. And so I am adjusting, even if I am supposed to be the coach and the authority, I am adjusting to who they are and how they prefer things done. I know where I eventually would like to lead them according to what their goals are, but I don't have to force a method and a process on them. I can work with what, they've got. So to learn that, to learn to negotiate, whether you're negotiating with a child, you're negotiating with a partner, a home, you're negotiating, at work, it is such a critical skill. So learn how to negotiate from the other person's perspective. Learn how to support people so that they buy into and actually own, the outcome, and you are facilitating them to get there. and you can truly come out win-win. Humility and apology, critical to staying relevant in the marketplace, critical to to distinguishing yourself, to being relevant, for people to remember you and call you back, because you could be the greatest in your field. What do I have going on here? The greatest in your field, but if you are bossy and imposing and want to give other people away, then just for the sake of the peace and the stability and the cohesiveness of the team, they will not want to have you on board. And so humility and apology. Just do not see myself better than other people. Try to see people from where they're from. When you're wrong, just say it. I am sorry, I am wrong. How do we move forward from here? Speak and do right, even if people return it with evil. Jehovah God knows. It doesn't matter. Do not call people out on their stuff. Do not return, evil. Just do good all the way. Bless and do good all the way. It'll come back. I mean, sometimes I've had referrals, recommendations from people who were shady to me. And so understand, you cannot always control what people say and do. You can't always wait for somebody to ask for forgiveness before you do. Forgive and move forward and stick to your plan. Remain on course. Whatever your purpose is, whatever your vision is, live to reinforce that. I was just listening to somebody else, Marshawn Evans Daniel. I follow her. And yesterday she was talking about, hi Doreen, welcome. She was talking about how to remove those negative thoughts, how to remove that offense and those people that got to you. How do you remove that? Like, I'm trying sometimes, you might say, but it's difficult for me to do that. And she said the way to do it is not just let a thought move around, and I'm really learning about capturing thoughts right now. She says, take captive that thought and, make it surrender. And the way you can do that is actually choosing to think above the issues that are going around you, the issues that are getting to you. And so instead of looking at how do I attack this challenge that I have right now, guys, I lied. I'm not doing this in 45 minutes. We're doing an hour. So anyway, let me move on. Instead of you saying that, okay, this is the issue, I'm thinking about these things, I'm going through these things. No. Elevate yourself higher. You have a purpose. You have a vision. You have objectives. You have certain goals that you want to achieve. Think about those. Pursue those, and there will be no room in your mind to think of all the other meddlesome things that you wish would go away. They will automatically go away. There's only so many thoughts that you can handle at the same time. And so it is really a matter of choosing. I want to see if anybody else has come on so I can say hi to them. Harriet, welcome Pamela. I think Pamela already said hi to you. It's really a matter of choosing what kind of thoughts you will allow to continue and to grow in your mind. And then, of course, you stand by your values. You say what you're going to do. You do what you're going to say. If somehow you cannot, you communicate that. This is the plan. It hasn't happened. As soon as I can, I will return to you. Or you come up with what it is that you can actually do. Life actually happens to the best of us. Life happens to all of us. And so not everything you plan will go exactly as you plan. We're old enough and we're not naive to think that. But what you can control is, should you say something and it's within your will, you do what you say. And if you cannot do that, it is within your reach, it is within your power to go back and say, this is not working out. As soon as I can, I will make right. And guess what? People will understand. And as soon as you can, you go make right. I read this scripture, and I don't know it, word for word, but it says, a righteous person will keep their word even to their own detriment. Even if it will hurt you, you sent a word, you mean to do right. Do right even if it costs you. Whenever you can. I remember this example. There's this gentleman, Emmanuel, I remember him now. So starting out in business, he had lent me money. And I said I'd get back to him. And I didn't. For a long time, I couldn't come up with that. And I don't know when I looked for him again. I said, hey, Emmanuel, can I have your details? I want to send that money. And he said, I'm at my office right now. Oh, actually, I said, can I have your bank details? He said, I'm at my office right now. And I showed up and I gave, I don't know if it was $1,000 or $2,000. I don't remember what it was. And he just looked at me. He said, Modesta, you remember? I said, of course I remember. Who forgets a debt? And he said, you know how many years it's been? I said, yes, but I finally could. So here it is. And it's not like I didn't need that money. It wasn't that it was disposable income. But I had sent a word, and as soon as I could, and I truly could, and only you know when you truly can. You know whether you're taking people for a ride and you're saying you can, but you really can't deliver. You're saying, oh, come back to me next week without work. I'll help you then, when you actually really could do on the day. Only you know. Being a person of purpose and excellence, being a person who will be remembered, who will be invited internationally, who will be referred, who will be called on repeatedly, is the fact that you're not trying to do what's right so you don't get caught out. You're not trying to do what's right so that you can be seen. That's who you are. And so you will live by that. Number 4, competence. People. Learn, practice, improve. Repeat. Learn, practice, improve. Repeat. We don't come to earth knowing everything. But now more than ever, there's opportunity to learn. Learn what you need to learn to excel. Practice it so that it's inbuilt. It's a skill that you can effortlessly do, that you can comfortably do, and then keep going. Improve where you need to improve and repeat. And so if you're listening to audios, if you're watching people, if you're getting coaches and mentors, whatever it is that you need to do, do it. But be willing to receive feedback, be willing to submit. People will not bother with you. I almost canceled a contract I had with someone because they were not teachable. They were not being receptive. And I realized I couldn't go anywhere with an know-it-all. I couldn't do what they wanted me to do in their lives. And so when you do want to learn, practice, improve, and repeat, when you're looking to improve and you engage a coach or a mentor, or you're submitting to somebody else, a leader that has gone ahead of you and it's something that you want to emulate, be receptive to listen. Because if you're not ready to listen, then don't bother. Don't engage people. Number 5, connection. Like I said, pursue, nurture, and grow right relationships. I might need to take a swig of my coffee. Right now, water would have been better, Modesta. Thank you. Pursue, nurture, and grow right relationships. Connect with people and with others, and partner with other people. Respect people's boundaries and expectations. And make sure that yours, I remember a good friend of mine, Natalie, said to me years ago, we were together at church and in Dar es Salaam, and she said, Modesta, integrity isn't just that you don't do wrong by people, but you don't allow people to do wrong by you. And so watch that as well, especially in the corporate context. Sometimes we're more aware and more touchy and more responsive in private and personal relationships, but in the corporate setting as well. Respect boundaries and expectations, and make sure that you also live in a way that you don't compromise your boundaries and expectations. I've had a lot of people really disenchanted in a workplace environment or in their businesses because they're saying people are not respecting who I am. People are not, taking me seriously. People are doing any which way, and I'm getting bitter and resentful. And it's not people. People have nothing on you unless you let them in. And so this is something else that has distinguished me. This is what I am about. I'm here to do this. I will do what I say. I will deliver. Give me feedback where you think, what now? Why are things updating? Sorry, Facebook. But do not cross. I will, with wisdom now. The wisdom has come after a couple of years. I will let you know where our boundaries lie. That no, what you're doing is this, and could you please not do that? This might be a better way for us to approach this. And if people keep insisting on that, you remove yourself from that context. If you're saying, well, that's my boss, how am I going to remove myself? You might actually have to do that. And one of my clients did. She's actually been removed to a completely, she took up the issue with human resources where she worked, and she's been removed to a completely different region entirely. You do not have to stand and go through abuse, and you don't have to, just because, I'm driven. I know why I'm staying here, and I want this job, and it's giving me, no, listen. This is why I brought God and purpose at the very beginning. If you know there is a God in heaven, and he created you, and you know you've been brought on earth for a purpose, and you know that this purpose will span the entire life that you live on earth, you know one closed door does not mean, a closed life. And so use wisdom and discernment to ask yourself, am I just whining and being a baby about this and I need to learn to adjust? Maybe I'm being too inflexible. Or am I truly in a toxic relationship a toxic, work environment that I need to get out of? Is my business partner toxic? Is my boss toxic? Are my colleagues toxic? Is this work culture toxic? Which is why you should have made up your mind about where you're going to work and who you partner with after having set your values. You know your purpose, you focus on your vision, you set your values. That then means, oh, this is going to be so good. I have stayed relevant and I keep being referred and I keep getting opportunities because I stick to environments that reinforce who I am and what I'm about. And so because I know who I am, who I am called to, and what I'm supposed to do with them, I will want to work with organizations that have similar values. I'll want to partner with people that have similar values. And as soon as I see that I partner with people that don't, I move out. I walk away. Even if I have money on the table, I have reputation on the table, I have my name and whatever on the table. Look, I read this on Facebook. You do not have to stay, continue with a mistake just because you spent a lot of time, making it, or you invested a lot in making it. So even if you're really invested in this mistake, if it's a mistake, withdraw. Connection is key, but with the right people. And how do you know the right people and the right organizations and the right deals to broker? Well, what are your values? Who are you? Where are you going? What's your vision? What are your goals? When do you want to reach them by? Then you know who you're working with. Do they share a purpose? Do they share values? Do they share a vision? Do they share, work culture? Do they share goals? Because if you're trying to go somewhere by December 2019, you don't want to, partner with somebody who wants to get there by December 2025. If you stand for these values, and then all of a sudden, in a corporate setting, you're asked to do something that compromises your values, you should have chosen better. You should have, done, the due diligence. But if you didn't, well, now you know. What are you going to do about it? And so, also finding that niche, finding your tribe, the people that you are targeting to reach, but also, so for instance, let me give you this example. If I get to be, if I want to coach at the moment, and this person is not purpose driven, this person doesn't live their lives, value-based lives, or want to really serve others and want to serve the continent, then it's going to be my problem. Do I really want that money that I'm going to work with somebody that could not care less what I'm sharing with them because they're not interested in that? They just want to be really famous and do really well and, shine out there. So no, I will turn down their money. They're not who I want to work with. And you need to do that because you know what will happen? You'll have less and less people that say, oh, well, I don't know. I'm at odds with her. I'm not sure I'd like to work with her. I'm not sure. Just even if it's perception, any whispering, anything about what it is that you do from people who are ill matched with you, that still is taken to be a reality. That puts a stain on your reputation. And so you want to make sure that you're walking with people that you're aligned with. You're walking and working with people that share values. Because then it oils your path. It means that you will be speaking to the right audience. Oh, am I getting ahead of myself? Let me get to this. Number 6, communication. You have an agenda. Always have an agenda when you communicate in any context. Always know and plan your objectives, your messaging, tailored to that audience. You must. Every person that wants you to come speak has an agenda. Everybody that wants you to join the team has an agenda. Every company that chooses to employ you has an agenda. Every person that says, yes, let's partner together in business has an agenda. Everyone everywhere has an agenda. It doesn't have to be sinister. It isn't manipulative. That's just the fact of life. We're here to fulfill an agenda. I believe I'm here to fulfill God's agenda. And so I've created and I reinforce this agenda in everything that I do. So look out for what it is you want to achieve and ask yourself, is this going to be honored? Will I get my objectives met? Will I get the message of my story, of my vision out if I get into this partnership, if I take on this platform? Will I reach out to the audience, to the target audience that I want to reach out to? If that is not being met, those are not your people. Get out. This is so key. The way you will distinguish yourself and the way that you will consistently be identified with that area, that field, the way that your personal brand will grow and wrap itself around your area, that your niche will be defined so tightly that only you can fit in it. And therefore, when somebody is looking for someone to address that issue, they can only think of your name because you're the only one that fits the profile. The way that you can do that is to be very clear about who you are, where you're going, who you want to speak to, what it is you want to say to them, and checking every time you get opportunity to communicate. Will I get to do that? And actually making sure that you do. That I will get my objectives met, which means you know that you have objectives. That I will be speaking to the audience that I want to speak to, that will further my purpose, that will further my vision, that will further my mission, and help me reach my goals in the time that I want to reach them at the level at which I want to reach them. And it'll get the messaging that I want across. Because the more you get your messaging across, the more people, the clearer it is what you stand for, the more people will associate you with that message. The more, especially when your messaging is about solving the challenges, the pain people are really going through, they will say, she's the person. He is the man I've been looking for. That company, that's exactly who I want to handle this aspect of my business. And then something else, stay on your message. There is power in this. Please, please get this, and it will make all the difference. In this era of social media, and we can tweet and we can, just in any 1 second, you can say and do all kinds of things. Remember who you are and what you stand for. You cannot comment on anything just because it passed through your timeline. You cannot, even because you're tagged, you do not have to succumb to the pressure of being tagged to start addressing issues that do not reinforce your message and, matter of fact, dilute it and get other people thinking that maybe you're not about that one thing and one thing only. Or even worse, those small talk subjects that we're told to avoid, politics and religion and, I don't know, maybe people's, is it sex, maybe, the gender, and there's some things, sometimes even sports might be an issue because people are really, loyal to their sports teams or whatever. So there's some topics that you want to steer away from them. And so let us find you speaking, associating, writing, giving your views on something that will have you meet your objectives, address your audience, and take out the messaging that you want so that you can fulfill your vision and your mission. Anything else unrelated to that could dilute your message, that could stain, your profile, steer away from it. You don't have to comment on everything. You don't have to repost everything. You don't have to address, answer, ask just because somebody tagged you. As a matter of fact, just recently something came up, I untagged myself. I was like, what? Tag me on what? What does that have to do with anything? I removed myself. Even if I wasn't going to comment, but that post was not aligned with who I am and where I'm going. And as a matter of fact, it might put a question mark on those tagged by that person, that this is the way these people think. Why would he or she tag them if they didn't have the same, thought process? And so not to risk that, I nicely remove myself, so that I am not associated with that. So that's important to do. Something else is, yes. Then apart from, making sure you stick to your thing and you're not drawn into agendas and communications that, don't reinforce where you want to go, also start engaging in conversations that promote your agenda. And so whether that is on social media, whether you're starting a group, whether you just repost and share somebody else's opinion. And so you'll see me do a lot of that on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on even Instagram, on Twitter. I am sharing what other people, the influencers, the thought leaders, people who are doing things. I mean, just people who are on the grind, the fact that they're on the grind and they're starting out or they're halfway through or whatever it is, because it reinforces what it is that I'm about. Remember, your communication is only 7% words. 93% is your body language and tone of voice. And so you want to make sure you are not leaving any doubt as to who you are, what you're communicating, what you're about. Number 7, we'll make this within the hour. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Creativity. Aim to wow. Just every time you do something, aim to make it over and above. And so you say, I'm going to give you, nuggets of wisdom. Give everything you've got. Give people everything you've got. People say, oh, but if you give too much and if you're not selling it, people can use it and go use it as their own. Oh, people, please. This world is full of inspirational, anointed, just excellent people. I mean, I have come across people and their work, and I am so humbled. I'm like, Jesus, why am I even counted as one of the people that you want to use this century? And so forget about the fact that people can steal your content and your style and your whatever. Let them. If you're very clear about who you are and what it is you're doing, and you consistently do it, it will be recognized as your own. I have had this countless times where people say, so-and-so is on mainstream media talking your stuff. How do they know? Because they know that's what I stand for. Somebody else will say, I read this thing. They were quoting you at verbatim. So what is it to you that people will do that? Listen, the other thing that we also need to know, do you know the things that you say and you do come from a lot of different influences? We're being influenced by many people. So sometimes you don't know, did somebody say that? Or did I read that in a book? Was that a revelation from God? Like so many, what we're manifesting is the building blocks of all the influences we've had over our lives. And so you cannot, you cannot avoid people being inspired or people, wanting to do something similar. That's not your issue. Your issue is, are you very clear about what it is you do, who you're doing it for, and who you want to do it with? Do you do it to the utmost? And of course, I'm going to talk about this next, to the utmost execution? And are you consistent? Are you visible? Are you available? Are you consistent? Are you creative? Are you relevant? That is what's important. Because you do your thing well, your tribe will seek you out. They will see you and they will seek you out. So aim to wow, up your game. What you don't know, I said this before, go learn it. Leverage technology, network systems, creative ways of going out and reaching out to people. So I do lives and I write books and, I write guest articles in other people's publications and, maybe I'll speak here and I'll promote somebody else. Even that is something I'm doing. Actually, that's number 8, curate. Even promote somebody else and their work. That also goes to show, these are the types of things that interest her. This is very much aligned with the agenda that she has. She recognizes other people, and she's generous with the fact that, she recognizes that other people are doing a great job, we're doing even a better job, we're doing something great in their sphere. Let's remember, these are creative ways. I mean, just reposting, resharing. Well, sometimes I go on lives, or what is it called? Watch parties. Watch parties of other people's things. It's not mine, it has nothing to do with me. But I think it's so brilliant. I watch Strive Masiu, and he's talking to young Africans, entrepreneurs, and just what we're going to do on the continent. Oh, that moves me. That is well within my agenda. And so I'll put a watch party and just have my phone sitting there. Of course, I'm also watching, on what it is that he's saying. And that gets people to think, hey, you follow Strive. You're about youth, and business, development on the continent. Nice. And so next time they're thinking of somebody who wants to build purpose-driven youth that are servants at heart, that want to drive market results with excellence. I'm like, that's the same type of person. Because, she keeps on putting watch parties that are related to building African youth for entrepreneurship and business, etc. I'm just giving you, these are free, free. Number 8, curate. Fun, engaging, relevant, really beneficial content and experiences for people. And diversify your portfolio. Do not be known for that one thing and one thing alone. I mean, working with people that are in career transitions, you're thinking, it's good. It's good to have a narrow niche, but there was nothing else to your experience. You did nothing else anywhere else. And I don't mean employed, but I just mean as a person, just as a contribution on earth. And so have a diversity, not just in in the products that you put out, but be a well-rounded person, still sticking to your area, but being well-rounded. Follow, recognize, promote, and repost authorities in your area. I said that, and partner with others. You won't do everything yourself, even if you could. Doesn't make sense. In this era where you can approach an influencer and ask, to do something with them, ask to access their tribe and their followers in a continent. So for instance, if I want to reach the entire continent, I better have connections in West Africa, East, South, Central, North. Otherwise, how am I, one person stationed where I am, going to reach everybody? So we need to think about the curate really relevant things. This is how, remember guys, what was the question? How have I stayed relevant for 15 years, top of my game? How do I keep getting these international invitations? Like this month, I had 10 invitations. How do I get international invitations to countries and platforms that I didn't even know existed? How do I get referrals even when I don't ask? There are times I wake up and somebody just posted and tagged me about me and what I've done with them. I didn't even know. Like I'm being featured somewhere. Like when I found out that I was listed as one of the movers and shakers in Africa on the Times of London, I'm like, how did I get on the Times of London? This is it. Being clear about who you are and what it is you do, being visible, consistently applying yourself, being creative in what you do, partnering with other people, promoting other people, equipping other people. Number 9, courage. You need to be vulnerable and authentic. You are you, and it is for a reason. Who do I have? Somebody's just joined us. Gorgeous wife. Hello. Welcome, gorgeous. How about a name like that? Sassy. Be vulnerable and authentic. There is only one you, and only you can do what you do. Now, I have worked in institutions that are very, very corporate. And I've worked with clients and I've worked in contexts, but listen, I can only sit still and on my best behavior for so long. And then after a little while, Modesta has to come out. And Modesta is loud, and Modesta is creative, and Modesta is free. Modesta cracks jokes. Listen, I'm also a very serious person. I'm serious in my work. But I'm me. And Modesta will say, I fell flat on my face with that. Modesta will say, look, I need to apologize for that. I thought this, but that wasn't so. Or I said this and I can't deliver on that. Modesta will say, look, looks like I'm on top of my game, but this is what I've been through. This is how I've fallen flat on my face. This is where I erred in a bad way and I killed relationships. So in this context, I made that decision for business and that completely wiped me out. Be yourself and be vulnerable because people want to know you are human. People want to know, you're not telling your story so you can sit down and wallow, but people say, if you want a real person, they will say, if you want a real person that has gone through the journey and is willing to take you through it and tell you what the journey involves, look for so-and-so. And so there is a power within healthy, prudent boundaries in being vulnerable and authentic. Speaking the truth. This has cost me a lot since childhood. Speak the truth. Find a wise and discern when you're speaking to someone in private, when you're speaking in public, and how you're addressing a thing, but speak the truth at all times. Defend the innocent at all times. Take on a new challenge and opportunity. Do it nervous. Do it with butterflies. Do it. Do it. You wanna stay fresh in people's minds. You want to stay relevant with the times. And I don't mean you completely change yourself and compromise. No. But what I'm trying to say here is that if there is a better way of doing things, if there are partnerships that you can get into, if there are networks that you can do, if there are other ways of doing things, do that. And come out so that people will say, not only is he solid in who he is and his messaging and his vision where he's going, but he's adaptable. He's agile and he's flexible, and that'll work for us in our context. Because not every context will, even if you're speaking to your tribe, will be cut out just for you. You'll have to do a bit of moving and adjusting so that you can, you can really meet people where they are. And I've said this already, walk away when the exchange that you're getting into compromises your values, standards, and goals. Number 10, I'm done. And Just over 1 hour. Consistency. Start, my people, and keep moving. I'll let you in on this secret. So I manage a group of 5 businesses in Tanzania. And I did that for over 11 years, going to 12 years. And what I learned from that, well, first of all, starting the first entity and the second entity, whatever, and then finally deciding that, to put it under a group. What I learned is that when you do a little at a time, consistently, you will get where you want to go. And people will see that effort, that consistency, and say, that's a solid person. I want to partner with them because they have been with it throughout the vicissitudes of life, throughout the ups and downs of business, throughout all the trends and all the whatever has happened. They've stayed consistent and they have done this thing. And so we know for sure that they will still be around. And so now with Purpose and Excellence, remember it was Professional Approach Group. And now with Purpose and Excellence, you start out, sometimes I'm on these lives and I'm the only person on it. And I will speak with as much enthusiasm and I will show up next week. Like last year's Facebook Lives, look, I just have to congratulate myself all by myself. Show up every week for every season that I was on, from 1st of January to the 31st of December. Ooh, what happened? Instagram. Bad connection? Have no fear, my Instagram friends. Just a second. Hey, Instagram, sorry you got disconnected due to bad connection. Let's continue. And so be consistent. Know that truly, there's a power. So when I'm on like this, maybe there's one person watching and nobody else is watching. Or, I don't get any feedback. I don't get any likes. I don't get any comments. I don't get anything happening because now, I'm running an online related, platform. I don't worry. I just keep going. I put my hashtags out there. I put my content out there. Keep moving. And then after a while, and I know it's coming and it will surely come. After a while, there will be a critical amount of interest. After a while, that compound interest, how you keep reinvesting, you keep redoing, that compound interest goes and brings in what you're looking for. So do not do a video and say, no one's interested in this stuff. Do not post your flyer about your business and see that people are not responding and just saying maybe there is no market for this. Do not actually sometimes even allow yourself to be bought and swallowed by another business and other people because you're thinking, oh, they're out there, it's probably going to work out. I mean, consider the facts and the situation. If you can't partner, it would help you when you can piggyback off of someone else. But don't cancel out your dream and your own thing simply because you're thinking, I'm not getting reception, I'm not really engaging, and not keep at it. Of course, learn what it takes. And I spend a lot of time doing this. How do you better improve? I go to later.com. How do I better improve my online presence on this platform, on that platform? How do I post? How do I position? You can do that, but by all means, keep going. The compound interest of consistency will make even those that weren't looking at you start looking at you like, this person is always around and always talking about this thing. This person keeps coming around with these products. I keep seeing ads for this thing. Maybe I should go check it out sometime. I tell you. Number 2, work like the opportunity is the first and last that you get. Whenever you get an opportunity to do anything, do it like it's the first and last time you will ever get that opportunity. And do that every time. Whether, and I've got here, maintain your standard performance, whether you're doing it for free or you're paid, and whether you're being paid a lot or a little. Whether you see immediate returns or not, every time you show up, you show up. And every time you do something, you give it your all. When you're giving, you give over and above what people are expecting. If people are asking for more, you give them more. If people are asking on the side, you're receptive to them, which is why actually creating systems and packaging things is good, because you can't just be talking to everybody all the time. But by all means, go all out as if this is the only opportunity, like you're hungry, like you just came out of school. Go all out as if you will never be called again, like this is it. I remember, what is that song? Eminem, like you gotta lose yourself to the music the moment you own it, you better never let it go. You only get one shot, do not miss your chance. To blow, I think. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Truly, I remember there's a time Yeah. Born again Christian. Maybe it was before that. Oh, it could have been during the time. But I had that, those lyrics like, you better go all out. Like, you will never get this opportunity again. Even if it hurts, even if you feel like sitting down, even if you've been so jaded, so hit so many times. This is how my people, I stay relevant for 15 years when I'm sitting out here working from home, taking care of children. This is how I'm getting the invitations that I'm getting. This is how I'm getting the number of profile views I'm getting. This is how I'm getting DM'd about opportunities and people and platforms like never before. And I'm not even active in my market physically. I'm not having coffees with you guys. I'm not having tea. We're not hanging out. We're not friends, buddies. I'm out here. I'm a presence, a voice online, a picture of a person online. How is this working out? The fact that I know who I am, I know who I'm called to. When I show up and I give it my all. And I stay relevant. This is something else. Stay visible. People will not go on the reputation of what you did before. Stay visible with relevant things, with engaging things. Stay visible, talking the things and doing the things, delivering what will really touch them where it hurts most. That means you have to understand your audience and you have to be out about solving their challenges, not just about my name and my profile and my likes and my. And of course it comes at a cost. And so I'll put ads out, but that's a cost. I'll spend time, curating content, that's a cost. I will let some people get services for free, my seed to them, that's a cost. But I see them as an African leader that is going to influence our content line like nothing else. And so I want to invest in them. And actually them shining in their sphere helps this continent shine. And when this continent shines, I fulfill my purpose and I meet my objectives. Ask for referrals and recommendations, because you can say all you want to say. I say a bunch of things. But many people have actually had a lot of clients on purpose and excellence. Of course, I had that as well with Professional First Group, but on purpose and excellence because somebody had a review of my services. Somebody had a testimonial, that I captured. By the way, I'll be asked, "Hey, Love Lead, welcome. Hi, Shani, welcome, and Lulu." So you may have had people who just out of the blue, like I said, there are times I'll just tag them things like out of the blue of the impact that I've had, or maybe if I'm going to speak on a platform and so I'll be profiled. But yeah, I also ask for referrals and recommendations. I don't tell people what to say. They can say whatever they want to say. But it is the referrals and the recommendations that touch some people more than anything I say, no matter how relevant it might be, no matter how impactful and funny and witty and really touches their pain spots. And so don't just stand alone. Get into partnerships and ask for those referrals and recommendations. When you've done a good job, which you mean to do, right? Everything you touch, you want to turn it into gold. You want to make sure you give your all. Then ask people after you're done. Serve consistently, and then be in it for the long haul. This one I'm ending with, and you may or may not agree with it. No matter the tactics, the strategies, no matter how you have just, what's the word I'm trying to find, perfected, networking and getting with other people and looking at leveraging strengths and synergies, you have to be in it for the long haul. And so, yeah, you can be an overnight success. Who's that? Binti Sayun, welcome. You can be an overnight success, but for you to really establish yourself and for you to be a person that is respected and called onto, like I was giving, and by the way, when I share, myself, it isn't like, hey, look at me, ain't nobody else like me. I know people far greater than me. But it is to say that when I sat down and I reflected, what is it that has kept me top of my field for over 15 years? What is it that gets people calling on me in countries and markets I've never served, I've never been to? What is it, that gets me referred even when I don't ask? I mean, how do you just wake up? Would you just like waking up and somebody has tagged you or somebody that's made a difference in their life so you didn't even ask them to? What is it that gives me these opportunities to make money? What is it that makes me have the audacity to even turn away some opportunities to make money? So I'm not saying this so you can look at me. I am saying this so that you can use this for yourself. That you can know that it actually takes compound interest. And when do you get compound interest? After time. You invest for a time, you accumulate interest. That interest you reinvested. Time passes, whatever you've accumulated, you reinvested. And this is the name of the game at the end of the day. To be consistent for a long time is the differentiator. Anybody can be excellent for a day. Anybody can speak right, talk right, dress right, deliver right once, now and then. But to consistently, every time you show up, to have, what did I say here when we started out? The conviction consistently, clarity, communicate that consistently, character consistently, competence consistently, creativity consistently, curating relevant, impactful, content that really speaks to people's pain spots consistently, connecting with others consistently, communicating, making sure your objectives, messaging, and audience are aligned with your purpose and the tribe, the people that you want to connect with consistently. Courage consistently. Consistency. Being consistent. Did I say consistency? Consistency. Being consistent is the compound interest on the investment you make to distinguish yourself in your market. Whether employed or in business, it is whether you can maintain who you say you are, what you say you can do, how you perform when you show up, how you partner with others consistently. That will keep you top of your game. That will have people referring you, whether you've asked them or not. That will have people looking for you in countries and markets you have never served, you've never even asked, you've never even thought about. That will have you seem to be so effortless. Yeah, because you've been practicing it. You're clear on who you are, you're clear on what you want to do, and you just keep at it. Don't mind my barefoot. I decided to be barefoot so I could be flexible today. Consistently so. And this is how, when anybody, whether before, in between, now, or in the future, thinks of a person in this narrow niche that you've defined and cut out for yourself, they will think of you. They will refer you. And when you give more than you receive, when you're about equipping people, about empowering them so that they can excel, they will always remember you. They will always refer you. When you give more value than what you're getting in exchange in monetary, returns, of course people will refer you. Of course people want to do business with you. And so I am no different from anybody else. And there are times I was really trying to study people with success and what it is they do and what's the difference. And you can't just emulate things at face value. You can't emulate things that in Swahili we say vimelea. Don't forget about vimelea. Forget about the things that are floating around. Go look at what actually is the root and what is the foundation, what they're established in. And they're established in practicing certain disciplines consistently. And that is what will distinguish you. So going back to where I started, you are salt. We need to get your flavor. You need to be courageous. You need to be visible. You need to be vocal. I just posted about the strength of a single story. What is your story? Are you the star of your story, or are you a character in somebody else's story? Are you driving the narrative of your life, or are you just speaking up whatever anybody says about you and that is what you take? Get back into the driver's seat of your life. God will help you. You are unique. You are without rival. I've been watching and reading this devotional this week. Without rival, there is nobody else ever was, ever will be like you. No one like you. That is your salt. That is your light. And you need to put that out. You need to be clear what it is. You need to define clearly who it is that you want to speak to, that you want to address, that you want to support. And then you need to do that consistently. And you will see the returns. There is compound interest on consistency in these 10 areas. And that is what will keep you relevant for decades. And that is the life that I want to live. That I don't show up and, I'm the flavor of the month and then I just fizzle out. I want to be in it for the long haul. For as long as I have breath and I am active, which will be till I'm 120 years old. I want to be known about this one thing. And I want to be called about this one thing. That I'm here to equip purpose-driven servant leaders that want to drive market results with excellence. Why? Why am I equipping 100 million African leaders? Because Africa is going to be the leading economic region in the world. And we need men and women that will get into strategic positions of leadership and influence to propel in there. This is what I'm about. And everything I do has the objectives, the messaging, the agenda targeted to this audience to consistently bring back the results that I seek. So if you have enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up. Please do share this. Please, subscribe on these platforms. The subscription, of course, it's nice to see the numbers grow up, and maybe on some platforms, then you're able to do things on a mobile device rather than desktop, or maybe you could even start earning through this. But that is not what's key for me. What's key is to reach those 100 million African leaders. Why? Because of my purpose and my vision for this continent. And so please do share this far and wide, and give me feedback. Please comment, and if there's anything that you would like me to do with you, you can go to info@purposeandexcellence.africa. My email is info@purposeandexcellence.africa, and ask, let's have a conversation. Let's see if we can have a complimentary means free, complimentary strategy session on how you want to position yourself, finding clarity in your purpose and focus in your plans, and of course, just relevance in positioning of your personal brand. So until next time on Purposeful Excellence, have an amazing Saturday. It is Jedediah's birthday. That's my first born. She's 6 today, and I am about to go out and enjoy time with my family. And I pray that you can enjoy time with yours. Keep well. Until next time, bye from me. I love you guys. Ending stream everywhere.